Hi everybody. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about shapes and underdrawing. So one of the things that I love talking about is the process of creating a final piece of art. And so one of the things that is hard to know is how much work goes into creating a book or something that looks really amazing and um, makes you feel all kinds of feelings, and you wonder, how did they make this? Did they just sit down and draw it and it came out exactly like this right from the beginning? And I'm here to tell you, probably not. It's a lot of drawing and redrawing and trying different ideas and a lot of underdrawing. So every drawing that I do, I will always start with something that I call a sketch or an underdrawing or something very loose with not a lot of details, but all the kind of bigger picture, broad strokes of what it takes to make a drawing. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Nidhi Chanani, and I've illustrated comics and picture books. So most recently, I Will Be Fierce came out, um, and this book has a lot of great illustrations in it. And it took me a long time to come up with some of these drawings, right? Um, and they look great because I did a lot of that work ahead of time, and I didn't go straight to the final art. I definitely took a lot of time doing different sketches and figuring out which pages would be double page spreads and which would be single, and where the words would go, and how to make the words and the art have equal space and equal weight. And so, there's a lot of plotting and a lot of care that goes into figuring that out. So I'm going to share one of my early, these are called book dummies. So that's not the best word to use, but it's basically like your your rough draft sketches of what the interior of the book looks like. So if you guys are familiar with I Will Be Fierce, some of these are exactly the same, and some of them are very different than what ended up in the book. But if you can see, there's that page where she's in the classroom and raising her hand, and there's like 3 panels where she gets the courage to raise her hand and share her story, and her bus, and then her looking out the window, which changed very much from this sketch. But what I want to talk about within these, and that first morning sketch, where is it? Right there. The first morning sketch is no different than the book, and her getting on her clothes here. So there's a lot of plotting and planning that comes into finishing a drawing, and those early sketches and those early drawings are what I use to kind of have a drawing underneath. And in Photoshop, if anybody's familiar with digital drawing, I keep it on a layer underneath the final drawing. So what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to ask you to have both a pencil and a pen, okay, with your canvas. So let's start with a pencil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 shapes. 3 shapes everybody should know how to draw. So I'm going to draw them a little bit darker. We're going to go circle, square, whoops, going darker makes my mechanical pencil kind of split, and we're going to go triangle. And I'm just going to let you know, I don't know what I'm going to end up coming up with. But what I want you to know with these 3 shapes and why we're drawing them, and it's probably really hard to see, I'm going to bring it closer, and hopefully there's some kind of idea of the circle and the square and the triangle. This is why I use a dark marker. Is that within each of these, so I'm going to just keep, maybe I'm going to go darker here. So one of the benefits of doing, so maybe I'll do the rest of these in marker because I think it's a little hard to see, but one of the benefits of using a pencil versus a pen is that you can erase. you can erase the lines after. And part of the reason that you do an underdrawing and you keep it on a bottom layer in digital, or you do a bottom or you do a pencil drawing first, is you can have a lot of loose, sketchy lines that when you do your ink over it, you can erase. So a lot of the art that I create that's original, whether it's a watercolor or a sketch, I will do a pencil drawing underneath and I'll erase it after, I'll post it, and you don't know that I've actually done two versions of that drawing. So what I wanted to talk about, which might be a little complicated because it's hard to see, so I'm going to just do it with a circle, is that when you have a base shape, you can use this base shape to create any number of things with just a few lines. So this is a great exercise in character design. So you can take this circle and let's say you could add two U's, upside down U's, sorry, here. And now we have eyes. Okay, and they're not perfect, they're not exact. It's kind of like a froggy face. And I want to extend this circle here and give it a bottom. Go full frog here. All right. And give these frogs some eyes here, some eyebrows, and big mouth. And then we'll do these kind of curved lines in here. And there's legs. And there we have our frog shape. And it's very loose and sketchy. And I took that circle and I made it into something else. Now I'm going to try to do that same with the square, and we're going to go a little bit darker here with the square, just so you keep that idea of creating anything from a simple shape. So it's really that volume, right? And we can even take this square, right, and make a neck off of it. So I'm going to make a neck and maybe a circular shape on top, and then give it some tiny legs. I don't know. Maybe it's a giraffe. Maybe we're just going to give it a little tail. Okay? And that's the base of our character. And I'm going to cut that square, right? I'm going to cut that square. We don't need the whole square, but that square gave us a good base, right, to create a shape and a character, and explore sketchy, loose lines. I have those kind of square, rectangular, I don't even know what they're called. They're not ears, but giraffes have those things. Antenna? That's not right. Antenna on top of their bodies, and then they have all the spots, which you can fill in later. There's loose. So we have that idea of the giraffe there. And then we have this triangle on the bottom. Again, hard to see. Okay. And you can take that triangle, and maybe that triangle is not the body. So I use this all for the bodies, right? Maybe it's the head. And we have, maybe it's a sleeping dragon or something. So we have that front part of the triangle, and I'm going to give this mouth and a U shape, kind of a almost incomplete U as that closed eye, and then extend out the triangle here for the neck, and then I'm going to do an upside down U for this sleeping dragon type character, and their dragon wings are down, just some big loops right here, and the feet are tucked in, kind of like a cat. Okay, and how do we know it's a dragon? Well, we'll give it some sweeping kind of ear shapes, building off that triangle, right, and some horns, front and back horns. Okay. Now, the reason I wanted to take these shapes and create characters off of them is it's really something that a lot of artists do. They use basic shapes to explore character and character design. And in those underdrawings, because there's a lot of loose, sketchy lines and I'm extending the shapes or changing the shapes in a way, It's a great way to start and challenge yourself. Just draw some simple shapes, add a neck, or make the shape a face and add a body. And it's really a fun way to explore creating characters with somewhere to start, because sometimes just looking at the blank page, you don't know where to start. And oftentimes when I'm drawing and I feel stuck, I just draw a circle. I start with a circle and then I see where it takes me. So after we've done, and I'm going to do this for all of these really quickly, is after you have that kind of loose, sketchy shape, or sketchy character, then you can come in and make it look really, really good with your ink, because you've already laid the groundwork with your pencil lines, and then your ink lines can be really carefully drawn so that you have all the openings you want and all the places that you are loose and sketchy. You can make adjustments. So, you know, the two eyes here on the frog are two different shapes or two different sizes. And so I'm going to come in here and really try to make them more uniform so they look believable. Connect them here. And go down and down and across. Make those leg curvy lines. Drawing the eye pupils, sorry. And I'm going to keep this open a little, right? Because I can't, because I already have that pencil work to guide me. And maybe I'm going to add a little more detail. Here, I'm going to add like a little eyelid here, and the eyebrows, and that happy face, happy smiley face, right? So we have a frog that started with a circle, and I was able to go loose and sketchy, and then when I came in with my pen, you know, I really took that time to make those details. And here when I'm going thicker lines to thinner, gives a sense of volume and depth. So you can kind of feel like maybe the stomach part of this frog is pushing back and the legs are pushing forward. And then same here with this giraffe. Because I had already drawn these loose, sketchy lines, I can make them tighter coming in with a pen. Those, I'm just going to call them antenna. I don't know if that's what they're called. And that ear, and that curved line to neck, down for the giraffe. I'm going to adjust here. The mouth originally was here, but I like it better down here. So I'm just going to move that. And I can do that because, you know, I did the mouth up here when I was doing the sketch, and how it looked in the end, I didn't like. So I'm just going to move the mouth down, and I think I like that a lot better. So there I'm going to, anybody who knows my giraffes know, it's kind of pretty nitty giraffe. It's very well known, my little one-eyed giraffe. So we add that giraffe eye, and then remember I took that square shape and I kind of put a curved line in there to cut it. And so we're going to take that, cut it down, go down. And I went straight through the body all the way to the leg. And here I made the legs pretty thick when I drew it with pencil. And I'm going to go thinner now, because giraffes' legs, from what I know and all the photos I've seen, are pretty skinny. So I'm going to make them a little skinnier. And I came in a little bit further here, or a little bit skinnier than the pencil lines. And again, with the ink lines, because they're permanent, I can't erase them. I'm making adjustments and changes as I go along based on what I think is going to look best, right? And each artist, each person, when they're making these adjustments, this is how you're making it your own. You're constantly changing and improving and adjusting, and it's a wonderful thing to do because you're changing and making that drawing more readable, making it more your own, making it more fun, adding more things that you wanted to add or that you thought of when you were drawing. And so then I'm going to connect that stomach, And here I had used that square line to just be the bottom part of this giraffe, but I know that it kind of angles in, so I'm going to just do a curved line up. And already it feels a little bit more like a giraffe. And then I'm going to do that same tail with a little poof at the end. And then I could come back in and draw the spots, okay? Now we have our triangle shape and our sleeping dragon dinosaur. Well, not a dinosaur. So we're gonna go here, and that triangle shape, I don't have to keep to it. It's just a base, right? So I'm not gonna go a straight line down. I'm gonna give that dragon a little bit more of a curve, more of a snout feeling. So instead of going straight down, I'm gonna go a little curve here, right? And I am going to do that straight line here. And he's sleeping. She's sleeping. So I'm not going to do a huge smile. I'm just going to do a quiet, sleepy line for the mouth. And then that eye, that closed eye, we're going to do just a curved line. And I'm going to double that curved line and fill it in. Give some thickness to that eye so really you see that dragon is sleeping. And then same with those horns. I'm going to make a little adjustment. And then we have the back horn. And the back horn, how do you know it's back? Because there's a line. The one in the front opens up that face line, and the one in the back goes into the face line. So that's how you tell which one is the front one and which one is the back. And then I'm just going to add some curved lines within the horn so it reads as a horn. And instead of finishing this back line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line and go straight into that ear shape. Okay? And then take it down from there. And there's obviously another ear, so we're just going to duplicate that. So use that ear in the back. And then take that neck down. And you know that foot that I drew earlier? I don't really like it. I don't feel like it reads like he's sitting flat on a surface, so I'm not going to draw it in the ink. I'm just going to remove that. That was something that I was trying when I was sketching, and now that I'm in the ink place, I want it to be a straight line across. So she reads like she's sleeping. So we go like that. And the tail was up, and you know, as I was drawing it when I was sketching, I thought, well, I've never seen my cat have their tail up when they're sleeping. So instead of drawing it up, I'm going to draw it curved around. So these are the small adjustments and thoughts that I have as I'm sketching, and I make those changes as I go along. Now, then I'm going to go and make that dragon body come all the way down to the tail, and those wings, sleepy wings. And we have our sleepy dragon. And you can see all those pencil lines where I tried things out and I didn't like them. And it's all fine. It's all good. It's all ways to learn while you're going, while you're creating, while you're thinking. And when you're thinking about these characters, when you take the shape, you make the character, you also should think about, or try to think about, what are we making them do? They're standing there, they're smiling. If they're happy, would the tail be up? And asking yourself those questions will make what you're drawing and what you put into your drawing more believable, more accessible, and have more personality. And it's just an opportunity to put yourself into it and to really think about, how do I make this drawing something that's different, and something that's mine, and something that I really enjoy drawing. And also, it's just really, really fun to take some simple shapes and build them into characters. And that is how a lot of character designers approach doing different designs for a character for a movie or a character for a book. It's how I do it. And doing those underdrawings and then inking over them really gives you a solid base to make mistakes. And even in the inks, you can make mistakes. You can do that sketch over again and then ink again. And drawing is a lot about making mistakes, exploring shapes, exploring different things. And so I hope that you take your shapes and you create some really fun characters. I'd love to see them. If you're on social media, you can always tag me or have your parents tag me. And thanks so much for joining me, and have fun drawing. Bye!